presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider.
These are good problems to have, right? So much success that you have more than one place to be.
5-3, touchdown, Oregon.
Off a dribble, launches, and hits the three. Oregon leads.
What a great opportunity it is to be able to play at University of Oregon.
I'm just incredibly proud to be a part of something like this.
She wants another three. Oh, three in a row.
Big Ten champions.
National champions, yes. The Ducks take home an indoor national title.
We are so privileged and so fortunate. We get to see all these young people. We get to see this incredible growth, which is what college is all about.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
I said going into the weekend last weekend that the upcoming weekend, the one that we just had, was the weekend of championships because Oregon baseball was going for a Big Ten championship, Oregon softball was going for a regional championship, Oregon women's golf is going for a national championship, and Oregon track and field were going for Big Ten championships. And so I think it's only fitting that for Athletic Director Tuesday this week, after the weekend of championships, we have on Senior Associate Athletic Director in charge of equipment operations and championships, Aaron Poo-Wasson, is with us. Pooh, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for the warm reception up in the studio today. Thank you. Doing great. Wonderful.
Coming in today, there was a trio of slow claps for Pooh on his entrance, his glorious entrance into studio. I think for you, talking about championships, your job is getting a lot busier lately with softball hosting regional and now super regional, baseball in a position to potentially host regionals and maybe even super regionals, track and field in the summer of Hayward that's going to commence. Your job picks up right around this time of year, doesn't it?
Busy is probably an accurate word to describe what's going on right now. But you know what? If we are busy this time of year, it is a good thing because our sports are putting us in a position to stay busy in May and June, and that's our goal every single year. Championship season with all the spring sports going on. It is a lot of fun, and it is a labor of love, and we have a lot of staff putting in a lot of time and hours right now, making sure that it's a great experience for all the athletes.
It's a good time of year to stay busy. You're absolutely right about that. And it was a good time of year to be busy all weekend long at the Jane. Playing 5 games for Oregon softball, working their way out of the losers bracket to win the Eugene Regional. You're also the sport administrator for Oregon softball. That was really fun to be a part of, to see the resiliency from the team throughout the course of the weekend.
Great word, resiliency. Just a wonderful atmosphere at the Jane this past weekend. The Saturday result against Stanford, wasn't what we wanted, and just to be able to bounce back after that type of game and be ready to go on Sunday afternoon and take them down twice was what was needed, and that's what we did. And I know Coach is coming on here after and she may mention this, but she told the team after Saturday, Coach has a lot of experience, multiple World Series when she was an assistant at Oklahoma. On the path doesn't always look the same for every team, and if that's what our path was going to be, that's what it was going to be, and we were going to be ready. And so it was just awesome atmosphere. It was so great to see the fans come out. A lot of student athletes from the football team and other sports there supporting the team. Just a great atmosphere, and I cannot wait until Friday night at 7 o'clock.
I can't either. And you talk about the way that the paths are different, and Oregon made it work, and all of a sudden you thought if Oregon was going to win, the Ducks would have to go on the road for a super regional. No, because the path works in mysterious ways, and Oregon will be at the Jane for a super regional, and we'll get that fan atmosphere once again because the fans, they were tremendous. You touched on it, but it was loud at Jane Sanders Stadium. I think we're starting to call it Jane Sanity. Jane Sanity was absolutely real over the weekend. it was a loud group. The families, the student athletes that were out, the fans that were out, it made it a really difficult environment for an opponent to play in. I'm sure you experienced that being there.
Oh yeah, they make a difference. These athletes at this time of year, like they have been in some tough environments, right? And that wasn't anything new for Stanford per se, but to look up and see that our fans, I think we're getting to them a little bit, right? And it's the same thing this weekend. Liberty went to Texas A&M, and I know Texas A&M for softball home games is probably a pretty tough environment, right? And so we know Liberty has experienced it, but they haven't experienced Jane Sanity yet. And so we're looking forward to seeing what that looks like this weekend.
And for me, I think it was the most evident in Game 6 of the regional, the first game of the regional final, where in the first inning, Stanford in the top of the first walks 2 runs in, and the place got really loud. And then down the stretch, you could feel it in the close and stressful moments. Oregon's down 7-3. Ducks are chipping away, and you could feel it. The play at the plate, it got rocking. The infield single for Kai Lushar, it got loud. It really did make an impact over the weekend. It made an effect on the team, and I thought that the theme of the weekend for me is Coach Lombardi was talking so much about all year long, so what, now what, and that mentality. And it felt like the fans stayed in it, too, throughout the course of the game. Okay, so what? Didn't get what Oregon wanted. The Ducks are down. Now what? All right, it's time for us to make an impact. It felt to me like over the course of the whole weekend, it was really indicative of that sort of so what, now what mentality that Coach has been talking about all year. Did you feel that way?
I did, yeah. And it just, as the games went on Sunday, it was pitch by pitch, out by out, inning by inning. And, let's just try to stack up as many winning innings as possible. But it was just trying to figure out, how, you can't worry about the second one unless you take care of the first one, right? And you can't worry about next inning until you take care of this inning. And then just trying to figure out a way, how are we going to get this done? And it just felt like as the innings went on, there's no way. There's no way Stanford's going to figure out how to win this game, because we are winning this game. We're down by 4 and 5, as the innings went on, but I think the confidence from our dugout, from our team was there. Even though we were down, we had the confidence that we're going to figure this out. And it was just an awesome way to end that game on the pitch to Dez, and just wow, pop. And then the place just went crazy. And I will say this, if you haven't seen the creative videos from that hit, from our creative staff that put together that night and on Monday, you've got to go find it on social media. It will give you goosebumps. There's no doubt about it.
It was fantastic. So what are you thinking? Because you were up in the press box, weren't you, when that was happening? So what was going through your mind in that moment, in that situation? What was Pooh Wasson thinking about?
Yeah, I was thinking about, I'm watching, obviously, the Liberty, Texas A&M score, and I'm like, oh, we're going to host a super regional. We're down 5, no big deal. I had the confidence that we're gonna win, because I saw it in our dugout, I saw it in our athletes. I tend to move around a little bit during the games. I don't know what you call it, but I just need to walk and move around and get a different feel for it, situations. But no, the confidence was there, because I heard Coach in between the games, talk to the team and their reaction, and I'm like, oh wow, okay, we're winning this game. And it didn't start off great in the top of the first. No big deal, right? But we're going to come back. We may have, it's like a heavyweight battle, right? There's punches being thrown left and right, but it's who's going to be standing at the end?
And it's so much of that, it just didn't happen. But what are we going to do next? And it felt like this whole team, that depth has been on display all year, and it felt like every player that touched the field over the weekend kind of had their moment. Whether it was Stacey Chambers in Game 7, or it was Kalen Jones with a 3-hit game earlier in the weekend against Weber State, it felt like every single person on the team that touched the field really had their moment. That depth has been on display. It's really hard to beat a team in postseason play when you have that depth of talent. And it was really cool for me to see the entire team show up and have that belief, whether it was in the dugout or on the field, that Oregon was going to win. This felt like sometimes there's individual players who help carry teams. This one really, truly, to me, felt like a full team effort across the board.
It really did. We've battled some injuries throughout the year, and different athletes have stepped up when their number was called. And they've done a great job of that. And Stacey Chambers coming in on Sunday night and retiring 11 straight. That's exactly what we needed at that moment to get back to Elise to come in and finish it off. And it was just impressive. But like the confidence that they had, not they weren't cocky about it or anything, but it was like, we're down, that's okay. Stacey's keeping us in it, and she went out there inning after inning and got outs 11 straight, retired. That gave us a chance to continue to get to their bullpen and get to their pitcher and see more pitches, and then the result is what it is.
Getting into a super regional, and for you, in charge of coordinating a lot of these championships, the regional, we kind of knew that was going to happen. Knew Oregon was going to host a regional, but you saw the draw, and Oregon's a 16 seed. It's not very likely the Ducks are going to host a super regional. So what went in the super regional planning? How does the super regional come about, where going into selection Monday, it's I think we got a decent shot at hosting a super regional, and then not seen as one of the top 8, probably going to go on the road, and all of a sudden, upset happens, Eugene's a super regional host. Just talk me through it for you in terms of the planning that has to be had for the contingency of, is there going to be a super versus isn't there, and then once you know that there is going to be a super in Eugene, then what is the process for you?
Yeah, good question. So the NCAA asked us to provide bids and information about the middle of April. And when you provide that information, you are providing a regional and super regional scenario, and providing our budget numbers and ticket sales projections and those type of things. And so it's clear when we put in that bid, we're providing the information to the NCAA, and we're preparing behind the scenes with our staff on the different scenarios. And it's known that we may be the 16 seed, but we need to know what's going on at the number 1 seed, and what could potentially happen. And it happened in baseball a couple years ago when we weren't a host, and I think we went to Vanderbilt and won that region, and then the region we were up against was Oklahoma State, and Oral Roberts won as the 4 seed, and we're like, we need to be tracking this because we could potentially host a super after not hosting a regional. And so kind of in looking at that for baseball next week. And so we're real excited about that. But yeah, staff is tracking it kind of behind the scenes on scores and what could potentially happen. And so our team did not know once we beat Stanford that Liberty had won and that we had an opportunity to host a super. So it was pretty fun to share that information.
Yeah, we'll talk with Coach Lombardi later coming up, but she actually said the same thing. She said she didn't figure it out until after the game, and then you came up and told her about it when Oregon ended up realizing that they were going to host the super regional. Is it hectic at all, where it's like, I think we're going on the road, but we're not, and then it's okay, let's get ready to host people in a week?
Yeah, our director of ops for softball and Josh and I were always communicating on different plans, and so we were, it's like it's kind of like whatever the game calls for the athletes. It's whatever the result calls for, we're going to be prepared for. And so it's I think that's what we do behind the scenes. And so we were prepared on whatever outcome was happening, but obviously really excited to be at home and experience some Jane sanity this weekend.
Tickets currently sold out for the Jane this weekend. Friday at 7 o'clock, Saturday at 4 o'clock, and then a TBD game on Sunday if necessary. But there could be a very small number of single game tickets that go on sale later in the week. So if you didn't get your tickets, make sure to stay tuned for updates to see if there will be a release of any more tickets available to get into Jane Sanders Stadium throughout the course of the weekend ahead for the Super Regionals. Is there anything else on a softball front that we haven't touched on what was a tremendous weekend at the Jane?
Yeah, I think I would say, there's some ticket holds that the NCAA requires us to have. Some of them are related to the player guest of the teams. And so as those numbers come back, and there may be some tickets that come available later in the week. So just look at your emails that are coming, our social media. We may get into a situation where we're doing some standing room only tickets as well. And, if student claim tickets, any available that they don't take up. So there'd be some that could potentially come available. So as it technically is, it's sold out right now, but I feel like there'll be some over the next several days that that are available to us.
So make sure, stay updated if you want to be at the Jane for this weekend. You don't have a ticket. There may be some more tickets coming available. Just stay tuned, stay updated. Make sure you're diligent, checking your social media, because when those tickets do, and if they do become available, they will certainly go in a hurry. So make sure you're diligent if you don't have a ticket to make sure you get a ticket as quick as possible. Softball going to the Super Regionals this weekend in Eugene against Liberty. It wasn't the only championship that was up for grabs over the weekend. Pooh Wasson's with us, continuing our conversation when we come back, talking championships on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Back to the Country Financial Studios in 60 seconds. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
Hey, so what's a great way to spread awareness that driving high is illegal everywhere? A catchy song, of course. You can run, but you can't drive high. You can run, but you can't drive high. Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
when the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Back in the Country Financial Studio, it's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano with Pooh Wasson, Senior Associate Athletic Director in charge of equipment, championships, and, well, the NCAA Regional wasn't the only championship that was going on over the weekend, because right across the block at Hayward Field, there was also the Big Ten Championship happening at Hayward, where the Oregon men took home yet another Big Ten title for Oregon track and field. But can you take me through the whole process of two championships happening in Eugene at the same time? How do you have to balance it? How do you have to deploy your troops in order to handle two different championships going on at once?
Yeah, so planning for Big Ten track and field started last fall, and we would have monthly meetings, and we quickly realized that it could be softball regional weekend at the same time. And so, Lisa Peterson, when she came on board in January, we chatted about it and said, hey, here's a potential scenario. Hopefully we've got both those events there at the same block going out at the same time, we're hosting. But, I would need to focus my energies on softball. And, she was going to take the track lead. And so that's what we did after selections on Sunday for softball. We quickly transitioned to her running lead for track and field, and she had some key staff with her at Hayward Field throughout the week. And then, Ben Clark, the event manager for softball, took the lead on softball, so I could spend more time as the administrator with the team. And so, no, we had a plan in place, and it really is all hands on deck from a lot of different support units. And we've done multiple events before, and everyone had a plan on splitting, divide and conquer, right, is what they say. And so it was great. A great atmosphere at both venues. I was able to get down to Hayward a couple of different times before and after softball, and so it was awesome atmosphere down there as well. And the men of Oregon winning a Big Ten championship and extending the championships that we're stacking up this year in the conference. And it's the first Big Ten event that we've held on campus. Hopefully one of many to come.
8 Big Ten championships now for Oregon. It was 6 going into the weekend, and then both baseball and track and field on the men's side won Big Ten championships. It's really cool to be a part of a university and an athletic department that has this many. I was talking with some members of the SID suite earlier today, and we think it's the most conference championships in the athletic department's history, dating back to the Pac-12 era, to the West Coast, to the Pacific Coast Conference era. We think that 8 is the most conference championships that Oregon has ever won across the board. I mean, that's something really cool.
Yeah, how impressive is that? What an entry into the Big Ten in year one. But no, that's what we do. It's like, we want to provide a great experience for our fans and student athletes, and we want to win championships. And so it's awesome to be a part of it. And, it's cool that all the athletes are supporting athletes from other teams. And it's, we have one more. We got baseball starting this weekend. And so maybe we can just pile on one more this weekend.
Yeah, double championship for baseball on the line. Could be regular season and tournament champions, depending on what happens this weekend. Oregon will play Thursday and Friday in pool play at 3 o'clock. Joey Mack on the road. He'll have the calls for the Oregon Sports Network. And then Saturday, Sunday will be the semifinals and finals of the Big Ten tournament if Oregon advances through their pool. But you're right. It was really cool at the Jane this weekend to see some football student athletes, some basketball student athletes from all of the different sports coming out and supporting Oregon softball. And after the game, the team, they mob home plate in celebration, and then coming down from the stands right after, the Oregon football team. It's cool to see that sort of student camaraderie around here, isn't it?
Yeah, gotta love the passion from the other student athletes, supporting their friends and classmates. And so no doubt about that. Gotta love the passion.
You talk about baseball and the potential for another Big Ten title coming up for Oregon in the tournament this week, but that also means on a championship front that the Ducks are in decent position to potentially host a regional and maybe even a super regional. So what's the planning process for that with baseball moving forward?
Yeah, similar to softball. The planning, we've submitted regional and super regional information to the NCAA. And that planning started a few months ago, and just been kind of tracking their progress throughout the year. But Sunday night is when the regional host will be announced on NCAA.com, and then at the bottom, the ESPN, the ticker at the bottom. And so we'll know Sunday evening if we're one of the 16 hosts, and then the entire bracket will be released in a selection show on Monday morning. And so we've had a few different meetings with a large group for the planning process. Elise Frazier, our event manager for baseball, will be leading those efforts as we move forward. I'm hoping I am not here. I'm probably traveling with the softball team
Let's
somewhere.
hope so.
But we shall see. But Elise is going to run point with that. And she'll have a lot of support around her, helping her out. But same thing, just create an awesome atmosphere at PK Park, an awesome, home field advantage.
Hoping that you're in Oklahoma somewhere, maybe. That's what I'm hoping. Oregon wins 2 of the 3 games this weekend. Pooh goes on the road to Oklahoma, and we hold it down here in Eugene when Oregon baseball's hosting a regional. It sounds like a great plan to me. Of what's going to go forward throughout the course of the next few weeks. And what we just got off of a few weeks ago was maybe the equipment's best day of the year, because we haven't been able to talk to you since the surplus sale. And I've heard from a lot of people around here that they got great gear at the surplus sale. It was a great event at the surplus sale. Give me the surplus sale recap. How was it this year?
Yeah, the Super Bowl of surplus sales. It was great. we look forward to organizing that and putting that on every year. Season ticket holders, just a great benefit to them to come out and take advantage of just items that we need to move off our shelves to prepare for the newest Nike product coming in currently right now. And so it was great. Another awesome event. Donovan Rogers on our equipment staff. He runs point on that and does a great job organizing our 70-plus student managers that all work the event, and probably 40 or 50 other athletic department staff. So, it takes a lot of people to organize, put everything out on the tables, and it's just amazing how quickly it's gone. We're probably within an hour, maybe 90 minutes. We're breaking down tables and chairs and getting ready to close things up because it just goes fast. But it's always fun. It's great to provide that and just see the reactions when people come in and find their favorite helmet or favorite pair of cleats or whatever it may be. Or it's always fun. And so kudos to our staff and student managers that help Donovan with that. And the rest of our full-time staff as well are there and available and doing their fair share as well. But it's a very fast, probably 3 hours from beginning to end, and we're out of there. And so, but there's a lot of planning. It's kind of, it's a year-round planning process.
It's like a flash flood of awesomeness.
I like that.
Is there a little more space downstairs now, at least for the time being?
Yeah, there's boxes coming in every day. We keep FedEx busy and UPS for sure. But, yeah, there's always something coming in. But, yeah, for a small period of time, maybe a week or two, the shelves are a little thin. But now it's going into the summertime, and that's when we get all of our shipments.
Talking about awesomeness and great atmospheres, looking ahead to next season, Oregon football season tickets, they're already nearly sold out. A chance to get into Autzen Stadium and experience another season in the Big Ten. It's gotta be cool to see that atmosphere continuing to develop throughout Autzen Stadium. One of, if not the best atmosphere, I'll say the best atmosphere in all of college football. A chance to get into Autzen Stadium again.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, coming off a Big Ten championship and CFP experience there, and so like if you don't have your season tickets, like time is running out, because I know we opened up a few more, found a few more seats to open up, and so if you don't have them, I would get on it because they're not going to last very long.
It's been one heck of a It's crazy to think that football season was already so long ago and yet coming up so soon. And you'd think about the year and the 8 Big Ten championships throughout the year. Does anything stick out for you of just moments throughout the year, throughout this course of Oregon athletics, where it's the inaugural season of the Big Ten? Oregon's had so much success. What sticks out to you about some favorite moments from the year?
Yeah, there's so many. It's tough to just to get down to one or two. But I think it was really cool. I get the opportunity to travel with football and to see some venues that we have not been in. Whether it's Michigan or this year we get to go to Penn State, and it was really cool. And then the Big Ten championship game for football there in Indianapolis, just an awesome atmosphere, an awesome experience, and the way the Big Ten goes about their business and hosting championships is really first class. And it was awesome. Just so many great experiences there, and just to be able to be a part of that. And now we're going into spring, and we've got 8 conference titles to show for it, and in year one is pretty remarkable. And kudos to our coaching staff and support staff and student athletes for all those sports. And we were close in some others, so a lot of fun to be a part of.
I'm glad you brought up the different venues, because it's been really cool for me traveling with baseball a little bit to see what other teams and other conferences on different coasts do for their specific sport and what their venues look like. It's been really cool. I'm glad you brought that up, because it is different in the first year of the conference.
Yeah, well, and I guess what I should also say is the amount of Oregon fans that aren't just regionally located here locally is when we travel. Yeah, there's a good amount that travel, and a lot of player families travel, but just talking to some of the fans, you know, in the Midwest when we were at Purdue, I remember specifically just waiting on the team and out there chatting up with some fans. And, you know, they drove down from Detroit and some others that drove down Chicago, and they're like, they just love the Oregon Ducks. They didn't have really any other connections other than I've always been a Duck fan, and with us moving to the Big Ten, now they can get to some of those games. It was really cool to like experience and hear those stories. And you know, it's a international brand, and we have Duck fans everywhere. And so pretty cool to be able to get out there and some of those fans can experience with just driving a few hours.
There were some places where it felt like Oregon was almost outdrawing the home team in some of the spots that I went to. It's really cool. So, Pooh, what did we miss? What else should fans know? Because we're getting into the summertime, and then all of a sudden it's going to be football season, and we're right back into soccer season and volleyball season. What should we know before we send you off for the summer?
Well, you know, hopefully the next few weekends where we've got some baseball at PK Park. So look for that ticket information and details coming out here shortly about that. And then, you know, we're just about a month away from hosting NCAA track, which we do every year at Hayward Field. And so looking forward to that. And, you know, your tickets are available. Get out there and enjoy some Hayward magic.
Hayward magic. Excited for hopefully a busy month or so for you, and then to have you kick your feet up a little bit for summer and get you back on Duck Insider coming up for next year. Pooh, thanks for stopping by. Always appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
We got Coach Lombardi talking Oregon Super Regional now in Eugene, breaking down the regional round when we come back after this on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Duck Insider continues from the Country Financial Studios in 1 minute on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Comes to a gun suicide attempt, all it takes is a moment.
Heather and I had an argument just like any other couple. I was lost. I had snapped. I had a gun, and I was going to take my own life. Heather helped me realize that there was still a life to live for the better of myself, my family. My weapon is now safely put away.
A moment of crisis can happen to anyone. Store your guns, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo. Hear more safe stories at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
I'm coming home to the place that I remember. Back to the land of my first love. Would you spread wide your arms for this wayward son? I left my heart in Oregon.
What a weekend for Oregon softball as the Ducks hit the Eugene Regional, win in Game 7 in dramatic fashion, and we have Coach Lombardi with us. Coach, just one heck of a job this weekend. Congratulations on the advancement to the Supers.
Thank you. It was an awesome weekend just to watch these guys really push and just take it one pitch at a time, one inning at a time, and just get what they want. I was really proud of them.
It felt like a roller coaster almost of a weekend because you lose the driver's seat game, but then you come back, you win 3 in a row, you win the regional. It felt like we've been talking all year about the so what, now what mentality. It happened, crumple it up, focus on the next thing. It felt like this team was prepared for the moment that the regional was and the situation the team found themselves in. I just thought this weekend was so indicative of that mentality we've been talking about all year long.
They were really good about just one pitch at a time, and what happened prior, whether it favored us or if it didn't favor us, it was like on to the next. And just to see our team collectively together, pick people up when they need to pick people up, just praise people when they needed praise, but just compete pitch to pitch.
It really, this entire weekend, you start out on a good note, you win against Weber State, and then you lose to Stanford. Just what is that mentality like over the course of a long weekend where you end up having to play 5 games in 3 days? What mentality did your team have to battle through and ultimately come out victorious?
I think you have to look at regionals. We want to win the driver's seat game. There's no question. That makes it the easiest, puts us in a really good position. Sometimes you don't. And if you don't, then there's still a road to get what you want. You just have to trust in that road. You got to come back and play that night, which I thought they did a good job of resetting and coming back and playing Weber State and getting the win there. And then from there, getting back to the championship game, knowing that we got a doubleheader.
The team has to have a level of resiliency, but the fans have to have a level of resiliency too. It didn't feel like the fans gave up on the team at all this weekend, and it really felt like that made a huge impact, especially on Sunday. It was loud at Jane Sanders Stadium over the weekend. That had to make an impact for your team, didn't it?
It does. Every time we play at the Jane, it's an impact. We have the advantage because of what our fans do and how loud they are and how they get into the game and how passionate they are. And they've been supporting us all year. Sometimes it's not going to always look exactly like we want it to, but from there, these guys always do a great job of resetting and then getting what they want. They always come back stronger and they get what they want.
And it really took everybody over the weekend, talking about the fans, but also from an individual player standpoint. This wasn't a team that over the weekend relied on one pitcher or one hitter. It felt like everybody over the course of the weekend throughout the 5 games had their moment to some extent. And that talks about the depth of your club. It really did feel like every single person who touched the field made an impact for your squad.
They did. There were so many moments this weekend, and to just collect all those moments and put them together, there were a ton of them. I think of even in the last game we were talking about afterwards, like, goodness, how many 50-50 plays did our defense make in that last game? A ton. They didn't make a lot of routine plays. They had to make 50-50s, and they made them look routine, though.
Well, and how about somebody like Ayanna Shaw, who comes in off the bench out of necessity? Riley McCoy, wishing her the best. An update from Oregon softball she sent out earlier in the week that, she appreciates all the support, all the fans reaching out. But ultimately what happened is that you did have to make some changes in the field because of Riley McCoy exiting the ball game. It ultimately meant that Ayanna Shaw goes into the outfield and makes a really strong defensive play. It felt like the team picked up Riley after she left the game, didn't it?
100%. I think anytime you see your teammate go down, it's tough. It's tough to see. But then, to me, the most important thing Riley did is that she got up and she walked off the field. And from there, they gave their team a second to reset, see that she's okay, she's going to be okay, and then from there, stay on their mission. And I think they were on this mission, but then when she had to walk off the field, they were on this mission that much more for her. And they were going to get it done for her, and they did. We've had many moments this year where we've had, this year we've had a lot of we've had some injuries where people have been out different times, and others, it's next man up, step up and come in. And I think our team has handled that really well. And I think you could certainly see that on Sunday.
And it was immediate an offensive response because a home run was hit in the very next half inning. But then Stanford, they hit another home run. All of a sudden it's 7-3, and you make the turn to Stacey Chambers in the circle. And how excellent was Stacey Chambers in the circle? Why was she the person for the moment? And then just what you saw from the execution for her, retiring 11 straight from the 3rd to the 7th inning. She couldn't have been more huge for your team in this super regional or in this regional to advance the supers.
Yeah, she was great. She's a great matchup. Their lineup is all all left-handed, I think, except for 2 hitters. So the lefty-lefty matchup, that's a real thing. And to see her come in and hit her spots, she came in the day before and she was missing a little bit, and they ran into a couple balls. But when she came in on Sunday, she had a really good understanding of where she wanted to throw her pitch and how she was going to mix up speeds. And I think she just gave us a little jolt that we needed, and then just had great defense behind her.
How about offensively, Des Patman? I mean, obviously the walk-off home run, that's huge, but the inning prior, down by a run, leading off the frame with a triple off the right field wall, just how big of a moment she had in 2 different clutch opportunities. She really came through for your team.
She did. She was swinging the bat really, really well, and just to see her come up and just spread the field the way she did. She hits a triple to right field, right down the line, and then she comes up big and hits a bomb, to left. So I just love how she was able to spread the field.
And the big clutch moments down the stretch, it felt like the veterans really stepped up. This has been a team all year that's seen a ton of production from the freshmen, but also from the veterans. And it felt like the veterans down the stretch, whether it be Stacey Chambers coming in or Des Patman, or with a 2-out to drive in Des Patman, a Kai Lushar single. It felt like the veterans really stepped up for the moment down the stretch. And that's the type of experience that your team has and the postseason experience that they brought to the table and were able to execute on.
They did. You could see our seniors lead the way. Afterwards, you could hear Des talk about how she was not ready to be done. And you could just see our seniors not stress, just be very comfortable and lead the way, and just be super hyper-focused and do what we needed them to do very well, which was make unbelievable catches on defense. Kedry, I think, just coming up clutch at the plate, and then Stacey coming in and throwing those innings. We needed those innings from her. We had a lot of innings on Elise and on Lindsay all weekend, and for her to come in and just take the strain the rest of the way was excellent.
So your team battles all the way back. You're in the bottom of the 7th inning. You have runners on the corners and nobody out, and Des Patman steps up to the plate. Just take me through. Where are you in the dugout? What do you see in that moment? Take me through your vantage point of Des Patman's walk-off home run. What are you seeing?
Well, I'm standing next to Stacey, and all of a sudden, you just see the ball go off her bat. I didn't even see it hit the fence. It just, as soon as it hit her bat, I knew it was gone. And then from there, Stacey and I were hugging each other. The dugout was going crazy, but just off the bat, it was gone.
So where do you go? Because the whole team goes out, mobs home plate. Where do you go in a situation like that?
It was kind of funny because Stacey normally stands by me a lot. And as soon as she hit it, we just looked at each other and threw our arms up, and I hugged Stacey. It felt like I was hugging Stacey for days, but I just hugged Stacey for a long time. And then after that, she found her teammates, and I found our coaching staff, and just thrilled. This team has worked really, really hard all year long. And for us as a coaching staff, to just watch them play with, just play free, not play tense. We were down the whole game, and they knew that we were going to win. That's when you can get a team to that point, that's when you know that they have arrived and they understand what is required of them to do to be in these big-time games.
It's a level of belief that your team has.
Yeah.
Did you know that after the swing, after the game was won, did you know that meant that Jane Sanders was going to be hosting the Super Regional? Because that wasn't a certain coming into the weekend. When did you find out that the Jane was going to be a Super Regional host?
Right. So we went through, we shook hands, the girls went to the plate to get connected with our fans, and then right there, that's when we found out. And so we said it to them right there, and everybody was going nuts. We didn't want to know. We wanted to really stay locked in on us and not think to work ahead. That doesn't make sense for us. That's not going to do anything for us. So it's just really being caught up in the moment. And then once the moment was over, we found out the good news that we get to play at our most favorite place ever to play at, and that's the Jane.
You should have seen the chaos on the concourse in half innings, because it was sprinting back and forth from the media room back out to figure out what was happening. We were worrying about it. I'm glad you didn't have to worry about it. Took care of business. There will be more games at the Jane Friday, Saturday, and potentially Sunday, and if necessary, game against Liberty. Tickets already, as of now, are sold out. Maybe some more will open up with the new allotment. But the fans, they made such an impact this weekend. And then one more time at the Jane for the Super Regional, they can make an impact for the squad once again, can't they?
Yes, give us all you've got one more time. The Lion's Den is for real. It is just I've never heard the Jane as loud as it was this past weekend, and it's been loud all year, but we talk about our athletes like going to another level as they get deeper in the season. I thought our fans went to another level with just what they did for us all weekend. So we need you. We need you big time.
Another level that's required. So what is required for this team to advance and make it past the Super Regional and go to Oklahoma City? What is required for the team this weekend?
Staying pitch by pitch. Just really selling out for one pitch, and then it's gone, and then selling out for the next, and that's it. Just staying right there. All year, these guys have all taken strain on for each other, and it's continuing to do that when we're on defense. Defense pitching, take on strain. We get out and we get to hit. Offense, take on strain. And really, to me, it's when I say strain, it's not like, oh, we have to. No, it's just a part of it, but what I love that they did is they just enjoyed every minute of it. Whether we're up or down, they enjoyed it, and they knew that we were going to win. So just staying. They're in a great place right now.
Also today, coming down, we're talking about the actual softball being played, the postseason navigating through, but with success comes awards, and your team took home a few national awards throughout the day today. Lindsey Grine named Softball America Most Improved Player, also on the All-America First Team. Riley McCoy, All-America Second Teamer, and a freshman team, and Emma Cox, an All-America Freshman Team. Those are great honors and great recognition, and yes, there's so much team success that comes with it, but individual success and getting recognized the way that those players did, that's also cool on a national level, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very cool. You can just see all the hard work that they put in all year long, and so we're excited for them. But I think this team's got their eyes on a big team prize, and that is us getting to the World Series. So they're looking forward to it.
Team prize coming up starting 7 o'clock on Friday, 4 o'clock on Saturday, and then a TBD, if necessary, game on Sunday against Liberty. What else should fans know before they yell their lungs out at the ballpark over the weekend?
Just like we're ready to go. We're ready. If we could go play right now, we would. So we're just excited to get out on the field on Friday. We're excited to play in front of our fans, and we're excited to be at home.
Great job this weekend, Coach. Excited for one more weekend at the Jane.
Sounds good.
Stepping aside, coming back after this, we're breaking down some more honors on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
With a great selection of new Toyotas, everyone knows your summer starts here at your Toyota dealer, even your pet parrot.
Right, the summer starts here.
Well said.
Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends June 2nd.
Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
With a great selection of new Toyotas, everyone knows your summer starts here at your Toyota dealer, even your pet parrot.
Right, the summer starts here.
Well said.
Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends June 2nd.
Toyota, let's go places.
More Duck Insider from the Country Financial Studios after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
You say you'd never give in to a meltdown and never fill your feed with kid photos. You say you'd never put a pacifier in your mouth to clean it and never let them run wild through the grocery store. So when you say you'd never let them get into a car without you there, no, it can happen. 1 in 4 hot car deaths happen when a kid gets into an unlocked car and can't get out. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
You know you make me wanna kick my heels up and throw my hands up and throw my head back and come on now. Don't forget to say you will. Don't forget to say yeah, yeah,
We're back inside the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano with you as we break down some Oregon baseball awards. The Ducks, since we got off the air yesterday, not only took home some yearly honors, but also some weekly honors. So over the weekend in Iowa, Ryan Cooney took home his second Big Ten Player of the Week award, and Grayson Grinsell took home yet another Big Ten Pitcher of the Week award for their performances against Iowa, helping Oregon sweep the Hawkeyes and earn a Big Ten regular season title. The yearly awards also came down from the league office earlier today, and Oregon has the Big Ten Coach of the Year, Mark Wasikowski. Congratulations to Waz on winning the Big Ten Coach of the Year. Waz put out on Twitter, he said, thank you for the award, but the label's wrong. It's not the Coach of the Year, it's the coaching staff of the year as well. So congratulations, Jack Martyr, Marcus Hinkle, Blake Hawksworth, all the assistant coaches as well. It really has been a true staff effort. But congratulations to Coach Wasikowski for taking home the Big Ten Coach of the Year. Ryan Cooney was honored again in a yearly award as the Oregon recipient for the Big Ten Sportsmanship Award, as Ryan Cooney exemplifies what it means to be a top sport around the University of Oregon. He was also honored as one of 5 Ducks that were on the All-Big Ten first team. Grayson Grinsell joined him. Of course, Ryan Cooney, Mason Neville, Jacob Walsh, and Seth Maddox, all Big Ten first-teamers, where Oregon also had 4 more that were represented on the All-Big Ten third team. Maddox Maloney, Anson Arrows, Dominic Hellman, and Jason Wrights, all Big Ten third-teamers for Oregon. Unfortunately, the Ducks did not take home Big Ten Player or Pitcher of the Year. If I was a voting member, I would have voted for Mason Neville and Grayson Grinsell to win those awards. Unfortunately, I am not a voting member. I did not have a say in the 2 winners for the awards, but Oregon did have many represented on the All-Big Ten, either first or third team, and the Coach of the Year and Coach Wasikowski. Congratulations. Also on the baseball front, Oregon, across the major polls, ranked inside of the top 10 in all of the major polls. A consensus top 10 team up to as high as number 2. A consensus top 6 team, actually, across the 5 major polls. Number 4 in the D1 baseball poll, which is the one that is most widely recognized. Oregon will play in the Big Ten tournament coming up on Thursday and Friday at 3 o'clock on the Oregon Sports Network. Joey Mack will have the call. The game of interest today for Oregon in the Big Ten tournament is the game that's coming up next. Michigan State versus Nebraska are in Oregon's pool. The winner of that game will technically be the only team that Oregon has to beat to advance. Granted, the Ducks want to go 2-0 in the Big Ten tournament, but via tiebreakers, game of interest, Michigan State versus Nebraska, as Oregon is looking to take home not only a Big Ten regular season title, but also a Big Ten tournament title. Oregon women's golf is looking to take home a national title. And the Ducks are part of a selective group in the Final Four, telling you how the Ducks got there when we return after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
I'm a pretty great multitasker. I can wash dishes and do laundry. I can roller skate while walking my dog. I can even order lunch while doing my homework. But I can't use my phone while driving. A distracted driver is one of the leading causes of death in the United States. So when it comes to driving, please, don't be a multitasker.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow. You sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Back in the Country Financial Studio on Duck Insider. Before we get to golf, I apologize to Berkeley Mabius. I omitted him from the Big Ten Awards. Berkeley Mabius, also Oregon baseball representative on the All-Big Ten freshman team as well. Congratulations to Berkeley Mabius. For Oregon women's golf, they are in the national championships and into the Final Four. When we left you on the show yesterday, Oregon was going through the final round of stroke play. They started the day in third place, ended the day in second place. Kiara Romero worked her way into the top 10 with a 7 under as the low round for the weekend across the board. Suvachayev and Chaitham also was inside the top 10 for Oregon as they advanced into match play today. Came down to the wire in the first round of match play against Texas. Kiara Romero won her individual matchup 3-1, up 3 with 1 to play. Tiffany Wong won her individual matchup up 3 with 2 to play. And then Oregon lost the matchups of Suvachayev and Chaitham and Karen Suru. So it came down to Tong On. AT down the stretch forced a playoff against Lauren Kim from Texas. And after 2 playoff holes, AT was able to sink a putt which sent Oregon into the semifinals and the final round of match play. It was stressful. We were watching it here in the studio, but the Ducks got it done. Semifinal round will be starting right at the top of the hour at about 2 o'clock against Northwestern. If the Ducks win, they advance to the national final tomorrow. We're breaking it all down on the show. You can watch on the Golf's channel starting at 3 o'clock to support the Ducks. Today, 3 o'clock today. Oregon going for a national championship. Talking about it tomorrow. Go Ducks, everybody.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third generation.
All right, there we go.
And I dedicate a lot of my time going fast.
Thank you. Have a good one.
With Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road.
No, I am not. I'm in Durham for the ACC. I'm not sure who will be in. That'd be a Rob question.